Hello everyone, I am Stefano Silva, an MBA candidate at Hult International Business School, and I am willing to work for the education of my country. So I will share some strategy focused on the education sector in the eventual situation of a future pandemic. After experiencing a pandemic firsthand, we must be aware that the probability of a new virus is there. The creation or natural development of viruses has been exponential over time. There are factors directly related to this exponential growth, such as the increase in the population, which accelerates the spread of the virus, the climate change, and the entry of human beings into the fauna. History has shown that a new pandemic might come in around 10 years. For this reason, the core institution of the education sector, schools, should be prepared to overcome the challenges that may come with the arrival of a new pandemic. The situation of a pandemic caused by a virus that could spread through contact and live for hours on different surfaces, the contagion will be high, mainly in crowded spaces like classrooms or playgrounds. Turicará, the school where I grew up and learned the essential lesson for life, could strengthen its educational service delivery by using some of the strategy I share in this podcast. Everyone talks about the economic impact generated by the COVID-19 pandemic. It would be easier to quantify the possible loss that the new pandemic would bring using the data that the COVID-19 has left. However, what could be considered as the most critical issues is the loss in education field. The main mechanism driving future economic and social development of the country and eventually of the world. The education field in Peru has been severely hit. Private school has not been able to respond to the circumstances generated by the pandemic. By the end of 2020, approximately 5,000 private schools went bankrupt. This situation, more than 250,000 students with no place to continue their formal learning. It is important to keep in mind that losing a school year is not just 12 months in time, but delay in the development of a student. The vast majority of schools in Peru do not have developed a digitalization system, a reliable mechanism to bridge the educational gap in times of crisis. Propose Turicará School makes its vision come true. They aim to be recognized by the society as one of the best schools that successfully applies personalized education and to be considered by alumni as a fundamental pillar in the personal and professional development. The strategy should have two fronts. First, improve the digitalization to penetrate the market through purely virtual courses that allow to capture that portion of the 250,000 students who are out of school. Second, to create a new form of education, being pioneers in teaching programming courses in Peru. These two strategies should be strengthened by improving the supply chain through agreements with the state and strategy alliance with institutions specialized in the new curriculum. I believe that Turicará is in front of a blue ocean, where they can be the pioneers of innovative new tech curriculum with highly technological courses such as R, Python, Stata, data analysis, and other similar useful. They could generate a whole new approach in teaching and learning systems and could reach diverse parts of Peru by teaching the courses remotely. Being pioneers in this world will allow them to specialize and provide services to other academic institutions, generating competitive advantage for a long time. This path will allow them to respond to academic and technological advances and the new way of teaching. For a cost issue, I recommend starting with alliances or mergers with recognized companies in this field, such as well-known universities like Hult, Stanford, MIT, or others. After this, they should establish a close relationship with the government to work hand in hand and offer hybrid education to cover the entire demand of students who were left out of schools due to the economic failure of their institution. By implementing these strategies, the income of the institution will increase notably. I consider reinvestment in technological development is important to reach more corners of Piura, the beautiful city where Turicara is located. I was born and raised in Piura, of course. To conclude, I consider Turicara as an academic institution must take into account that education is changing as fast as technological advances. They have the responsibility of making the country more competitive through the students they train and educate. That is why they must be at the forefront and embrace the strategic alliances with countries that have the experience in the technology-related courses and to predict the possible scenarios before the future pandemic. This would allow to minimize the number of students who may be left without education. This investment will be strong in the beginning, but necessary to respond to the future. Thank you, and see you in the next podcast.